bit of longer practice than you used to during the season?
Yes. Yeah. And I love it.
How were you able to, is it just being able to go harder? And,
Makes you feel like you're coaching. You feel like you have a chance to coach. It's almost that simple. And you can just have time on your home court and you have a chance to coach. And for me, that's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It's really quite that simple.
One of those things of coaching was just being organized on the offensive end. Is that a big factor for what?
I feel like the mystery, the challenge, the clarity as it relates to just offense now is just the recognition of roles, the recognition of like where is our bread buttered. And you can talk about, well, in early offense you get a breakneck speed takeoff guard in Ben Simmons, and then you have Joel Embiid gets 10 defensive rebounds a game, and so inevitably he's in trail. Like, how do you play off that? How do you find hot corners and get more threes? How do you let, breakneck speed 6'10" point guard own the middle? And then here comes Joel. That's his world. That's his world. Multiple post players, cramming the paint, not opening stuff up, doesn't interest me. And so the recognition of skill sets and the coexisting of a team, that interests me. And, declaring it just like I just declared it, interests me. And the guys are fantastic. This isn't pulling teeth. It's not pulling teeth. There's high character, there's a lot of talent, but it's trying to take an unusually sort of designed skill sets that we have and be very clear on this is how the world works, as I see it. And that's what we did a lot of today.
That sounds like something you would have said a couple months ago. Too.
It's been said, yeah.
But, it's naturally got to be frustrating that you're still saying it 2 months from now.
A little bit, not as much. And to think like you're just going to come in and break, 12 years of people's habits is really recklessly naive. And so, I love coaching the team and I get excited with what can be. But it doesn't just like you say it and talk about it and it happens. Sometimes things evolve and it's hard to like just snap somebody's 10-year career of habits. It's not going to happen. And so it's trying to like show examples of like how we use each other's skill sets, and it's also the understanding that this is a team and all teams have to sacrifice and all teams have a great clarity of role recognition delivered by me. And this has been said many times, it'll continue to be said, and we will evolve in the group. Make sure you hear this and write this. The group is great. It's not pulling teeth. It's trying to like figure each other out because there's high character and there's talent, and this is an offensive thing you put me on a tailspin on, but that's what a lot was said and done tonight.
Do you saw Ben talking about offensive role? Do you see that?
I for sure do. And so like when you say, well, how can that happen? You weren't going to sort of do that with JJ. JRich has got that wiggle and can play out of the pick and roll. And we've been playing with it for a while. We did it a lot more in Houston. I think it's an interesting look. We did it, some against Miami's zone. And I think Ben is a really good screen setter. He's physical. He embraces that side of it. And he's a dynamic roller. Like he's a lob guy. He's a catch-go guy. And he can facilitate, picking off corners as a passer. So, we'll continue to look at that for sure.
You had said originally you thought maybe around Christmas you guys would be kind of hitting your stride. That timetable is obviously extended. Do you see it now, All-Star break? Or?
I'm not prepared to put any timeline on it. And, I did say that and I own it, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. We haven't done that. And we are in a place that you wouldn't have wished for sure. But do I feel like, I'm especially worried? I'm not. I'm really not. And I know others, are, and it's like we haven't achieved the expectation that people and us, talked about. But in relation to like, when's this thing gonna finally come together? You say Christmas, now what's the date? I don't have a date. What I do know is that I feel like, when you isolate what's the problem, to me that's always like the scary part. Let's be truth tellers and dig into what's the problem, and then it's easier to find the solution. And I feel like we're slowly identifying, what some of the problems are that have put us in some of the places we have been.
Take a couple more guys.
It looks like Al has gotten good shots. He just, especially from three, hasn't made them the way he has in the past. Is that how you see it?
Well, just go to statistics. I just want him to keep shooting. Like, I really want him to shoot threes. I want him to space and coexist with Joel in an environment where he feels comfortable, and we find him on firing threes. I couldn't be any clearer with that role too. And like, as he sits next to Joel, and you guys can start thinking about it. Like, if you like Ben Simmons in pick and roll, well, what are you going to do with Joel? Like, where's he go? And what are you going to do with Al Hortford's on the floor? And so, like, inevitably it gets back to, well, you can't roll and crash into people, and so you better have, spatial direction from my side. And so his coexisting with Joel is quite simple. This is Joel's paint. That's Joel's paint. And everything else, has to sort of coexist around that. And that equals Al shooting threes. And I believe that his percentage, whatever it might be, I almost know, doesn't indicate really the capable shooter that he is.
In terms of Ben's role offensively with the screen and roll and everything, what's the luxury of the to have a guy like Johnson for secondary ball compared to some that big role?
Well, you shouldn't use the word luxury. It's a necessity. You're not going to do it otherwise. And so we can say, oh, we love Ben as a screen setter. Well, you better find a capable, someone that can deliver the person to the screen. Then you got to have somebody navigate, like the defense is behind it. Then you got to have somebody be able to deliver a perfect pass to the corner of the backboard if Ben's, capable to do that. Like the skill sets are far-reaching, and so it's not a luxury. Isn't my word. A necessity is, or I wouldn't run it.
Last one, guys.
Track numbers, Al's pick and roll numbers, especially screen are way down for most of his whole career. Do you think that's kind of an obvious thing for a guy who's played really as long as he has to kind of get to do one thing, sort of actually try to shift something else, taking some time to get comfortable with what you're asking?
I think a little bit, Tim. And when you start like looking at the pecking order of how this whole thing plays out, it's not like he's getting an abundance of play calls. And, I'm not apologetic about that. In the environment that we're talking about, like, can his numbers, go up from a percentage standpoint? I'm sure. Can we do more for him? Yes, I can. I'm always trying to find ways to help him. But in the environment, to your point, of he's come in with all these, other targets that the coaches like maybe prioritizing more than pick and pop and Al, this is true. And so you gotta, whatever, assessment you got of Al Horford, the layers behind it, I think can be justified. And that one I own.
Do you think part of that too is why, at least to me, looked a little more comfortable he's been out there with the kind of Ben highest group,
Yeah.
a little faster? Do you think that's kind of a natural thing and that's at least closer to the way he's used
I
to
do.
playing?
I do. And so, like, when you look at the pairing, Sam playing, Joel, 34 minutes, say, and so, I want to play Al probably 32 minutes. Like, you guys can do the math. He's done saying, well, there's X amount of 5, so there's the rest of 4. And then you start getting into, like, well, who's on the court after that with Al, say, at a 5. And it's true, I think in that environment, that spaced environment, he's probably more effective, more comfortable. But in the meantime, you look on the score and it's 100 to 100 and there's 4 minutes left. What's in crunch time? Who's on the court? there's a significant chance he will be there. He should be there, you know, with Joel. And so in that environment, you're trying to use him most effectively. And to somebody's question, like that's where the three-point shot stands out, the need for that stands out the most.
Thanks, times he hasn't.
Tim, last one, please.
Sure. I know it's on scratch late. He hasn't out there in those moments. The goal for you would have seemed obviously that by the end of the year, you guys are comfortable enough with everything that you would have out there.
Yes, but and really when you look back on it, you're going to find a connection to tiny ball. Like when they just put out flyers at 4, you know, usually you're a little bit worried. Or if there's something that's crazily mobile at a 4, maybe Tobias is better suited for that. Like we've taken Joel and, you know, put him on like less effective shooters. You know, back in the day, Siakam, not anymore, type thing, and Al could go guard Ibaka, you know, I can do that. But in general, like the times that we've done that, it's usually very connected to a defensive assignment.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you all.